¿A dónde está papi? 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 ¿A dónde está papi?
Welcome to the Monday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Monday. Welcome, everybody. Derry Bennett, Michael Hasser, Heat, how's it going? Indeed, I hope everyone had a good weekend, folks. Another week started. Folks, I'm just gonna let you know the streams for this week are gonna be a little odd. Today's stream is going to be a little shorter. Wednesday's stream is tentative, so stay tuned, folks. Join the Discord to always get the latest updates. But yeah, the streams are a little bit wonky this week because of scheduling. Good to see you too. I appreciate you hanging out. Whew. Lots of stuff happening, folks. Let's go ahead and start getting into it. Don't forget, folks, if you enjoy the content you're walking in, make sure you hit the follow button. If you're on the YouTube, keep liking the stream. I see you guys. I see you. Keep liking the stream. I appreciate it. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Heat coming in with the tier 1 sub for 37 months. Jeez. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. Folks, there are many different ways of supporting the channel. You guys are what makes this channel go. I appreciate it. Thank you. You can consider checking out the merch store. Consider checking out the command !tip to leave your streamer a tip directly. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get started, folks. Oh, yeah. And this upcoming Saturday, folks, this upcoming Saturday is movie night, folks. That's right. It's already here. The last Saturday of the month, movie night. Dune #2. All right, folks, let's get started. We should probably catch up on some stuff, yeah?
None of you were ready to make a commitment to any candidate in November.
The spice be flowing.
Please raise your hand right now if you're now ready to make a commitment after today.
CNN spoke with undecided voters following Kamala Harris's acceptance speech to see if they have finally decided. So these are voters that are in Pennsylvania, and a lot of them are actually union voters, interestingly enough. And I don't know how they find these people. Like, how do you find undecided voters now? But here they are. And
I guess you make up a poll.
have they decided? Well, I have a few clips to play, including, we'll get to this one guy on the panel who is just incredible. But here's the first clip.
I gave her a B+.
B.
B+.
A B+. Jesus. Harsh.
A.
B+.
A.
A.
C.
C. So
C.
mostly A's and B's with one C. I want to ask you why you made the decision you made. First of all, we start with Scott, who is the president of the UAW local here in the Lehigh Valley. Scott, what grade did you give it again?
B+.
How come?
I gave her the high grade because I thought she looked very confident. I liked how she spoke from her heart. I liked her message of unity and the division that we have in America. I like her fight for the middle class and families. The reason I didn't give her an A was I thought she needed to go into a little more detail on some of her plans, of how she would, do some of the things that she
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of agree.
envisioned.
Okay, Lindsay, you're in sales. You're the person who wasn't sure she was going to vote for anybody because you don't like either of these two candidates. I'll ask you more about that in a minute. But first, what grade did you give the speech?
I gave it a B.
How come?
I thought it was a good speech. I mean, she did what she was supposed to do. I liked that she was talked about her upbringing, made it feel a little more like personal. But yeah, I thought it was a good speech.
Okay, Andy, you're also with the UAW. You make cars and trucks for us Americans, so thank you for that. Along
True, but they never do that at the event. That's very true also.
The rest of you?
Yeah, it's a good point, I should say. Sorry.
Your grade again was?
B+.
And how come B+?
I liked her planning for the middle class. Like, my wife's a nurse. I'm an auto worker. I'm as middle class as you can get. I just felt like she should go a little more in depth. But I guess I understand you can't really go as in depth in these speeches. But a little bit more would have been nice.
So I was actually kind of surprised that universally on the panel, almost everybody on this panel said that they wanted more details from the speech, which normally the reason why a politician doesn't give all these details is because they focus more on evoking some sort of feeling out of the voter as opposed to inundating them with a bunch of details.
Yeah.
I think Bernie Sanders has kind of spoiled, especially union voters, which a lot of these are, with details. I mean, when he ran, Bernie is all about policy. So he kind of set the bar on that. So anybody who doesn't quite hit that may seem like they don't have the plans quite set up the way that Bernie Sanders did. That said, in terms of the ability for Kamala Harris to connect and discuss, her upbringing, I think that was an important element in especially bringing in older voters, which Kamala Harris had not really grown support in since the switch from Joe Biden. Joe Biden had a big strength there for obvious reasons, and that was one of the weaknesses that Kamala Harris has had. So I think there was an intention there to try and grab some more of that support. But largely, again, these are undecided voters giving her positive ratings, except for the one guy. I'm going to get to him. I want to focus on him later because there's a clip from there that I will get to. But
Mayhem Hippie, welcome.
let's start with, let's continue with the next clip here. This is where they decide, are they going to vote for Kamala Harris or not?
A weaker than expected jobs report.
A sign that a recession is imminent.
Bidenomics is working.
Do you agree that the previous ad is relevant to me? No.
Like I said, none of you were ready to make a commitment to any candidate in November. Please raise your hand right now if you're now ready to make a commitment after today. Wow. I'm just kind of surprised about it. We haven't rehearsed this. I'm going to make that very clear. They will attest to this. 7 of you are now ready. Scott?
Yes, I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris.
Andy?
Yeah, Kamala Harris, yes.
Donna?
Yes, I'm voting for her also.
Sean?
I'm voting for Trump.
Sean?
Yes, Kamala.
Sabrina?
Carmela.
Patrick?
Kamala.
Brian?
Trump.
Trump?
Oh, what? Wow. I was memeing, but I didn't expect anybody to actually say Trump. I was just memeing. I didn't expect anybody to actually say Trump. Gonna lurk. Super Mario and I are in a battle on the SNES. Well, good luck and Godspeed. Godspeed. I appreciate the lurk.
And finally, Lindsay.
Still probably not voting.
Mario's gonna regret this day. Kamikazion, welcome. A-Bond, welcome. Welcome, everybody.
So probably you don't like either of them.
Nope.
Okay.
What led to you all making a decision? Was it that decisive of an evening, Scott?
Yeah, I really, as I said before, I really liked her confidence. She's really seemed presidential. She seemed very confident. Like I said, she spoke from her heart. I liked how she filled you in on her background, that she struggled, her mother struggled,
All right.
middle class family.
And Donna, you were 50-50
Yeah.
going into the evening. What made you make a decision?
Well, I've been doing research since she was, the nominee, and I
Just got home. Welcome, Cognizant.
like what I'm reading, and here I've been watching the convention, and her speech was just, that just sold me.
And Brian, you decided on Trump. What about tonight? Because when we met last week, you were undecided.
Undecided.
What about tonight made you decide you were going to vote for Trump?
Her speech was great. I like how she went into personal history again. It was just not moving for me.
But it made you think that Trump's a better candidate than her.
He's here for it. He's a little bit more aggressive.
Wait, what does that have to do with anything? I'm confused. I'm super confused.
She's aggressive in her way, but I think she'll be aggressive in the next term.
Aggressive about what? That last guy is, in my opinion, so full of crap. I'm going to get to the clip that I didn't.
Aggressive in the next term. So he wants her to run in 2028. I'm confused. Okay.
Show earlier of him to help explain why I think he's full of crap. But before I get there, this is pretty impressive. For one speech to flip these many undecided voters. Now, I have to go back to, it's the likely reason is undecided voters, I would assume, typically don't pay close attention. And here they're finally they're sitting down watching an entire speech, paying attention, and
like a lot of like the real like run up essentially what I'm trying to say is the election fully is in gear the moment these conventions are done, essentially. That's when a lot of people are starting to tune in.
Seeing, I guess, from what they're saying here, how capable and relatable Kamala Harris can be compared to somebody like Donald Trump. But this is pretty good news for the Democratic Party. Again, we're talking, 6 people here? But if this is a sentiment that people, that undecideds felt across the board, then it could mean something. But it's also worth noting here, I think people like this, these sorts of voters are very hard to find. The real issue is getting people who do lean Democrat simply off the couch to vote. I think there are very few people who are like between Trump and Kamala Harris. I don't even know how at this point unless you're completely divorced from following this stuff at all, how you could feel in between the two. It's either you're motivated to vote for the party you want to vote
Yeah,
for.
or just like I don't know, you know, there's a lot of reasons to be very to be very apathetic and not be really tuned in, okay? And a lot of very understandable reasons as to why. Cuz like, you know, people like me and people like Dole and the folks watching, we're tuned in. Like we're just like tuned into this stuff. But a lot of people just aren't, and a lot of people feel like it's just not worth tuning in. So they don't even, you know, they don't even bother. A lot of people, not only that heat, but a lot of people just feel like it's not worth it. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm just saying I understand. If that makes sense. Chat is being too cute right now. These emotes are amazing. I'm actually pretty in the mood for some ice cream. You know, one of my favorite things. Here we go. We're starting to talk about food. You know we're in trouble. One of my favorite rare snacks, because I don't actually like sweets a lot. I don't really like that much sweets, like candy, stuff like that. But some things I do like, and ice cream sandwiches. Ice cream sandwiches. I found some really good ice cream sandwiches at the store, and man, now that you guys are putting those emotes there, I'm craving one of those. I have Ben and Jerry's non-dairy cherry Garcia in my freezer. It's so good. Nice. Undecided voters are the epitome of apathy and the apex of being tuned out of everything. The entire planet has a basic knowledge of the American electoral system, and these people actually live in the country. Oh yeah, like, but that's the thing though. Like people, like I'm talking about legitimate, like undecided people. Yeah, like, and they're, like I said, I'm not saying that I agree. I'm saying that I understand the reason why someone could feel so apathetic that they're just completely tuned out. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense.
For the candidate you want to vote for, or they don't motivate you. That was the issue Joe Biden had. Lack of motivation, lack of youth support. And now that has changed dramatically under Kamala Harris. So let me get to that last guy, though. Here, this shows you what I think is the reason why he is a Trump supporter.
And Brian, you're in real estate. You're a nice guy too, like everyone in this panel, and you gave.
You're in real estate? Like, let me tell, like, you can stop it right there. Bro said, oh, you're in real estate? Yeah, that tracks, honestly. Like, you could have just stopped at you're in real estate. That would have explained, like, that's it. That's all we really need to know at this point. We can stop the segment right here. Okay. Oh, man. Perhaps undecided because they think both sides are just terrible, like that one lady in the video. Yeah, and again, I don't necessarily agree with that assessment, but I understand how someone could feel that way. And I honestly blame the Democrats for not being better, and making it abundantly clear, or making an effort. You know, does that make sense? I'm tuned out of Canadian politics, but I can acquire the knowledge if needed.
Give the only C. How come you gave a C?
She wasn't clear enough on the policies. She did speak a lot of her personal history, which was great.
As opposed to the other candidate, which you've said that you want to vote for, which is Trump, he explicitly avoids talking about policy. He has like basically one policy talking point. He has one policy talking point. and that is that is brown people are destroying America, right? The brown people coming are destroying America. They're taking your jobs, and yeah, that's his policy as far as there is one so far.
But I still don't feel like she's ready. I feel like
What does that mean exactly? Like, you don't feel like she's ready. She's the vice president of the United States, bro. She was a senator before that. I don't understand, dude.
more so she should wait. I don't want to per se vote for someone that is a backup.
This guy is so ridiculous. Grasping at
She is a woman. She's not ready, says the man. Yeah, I'm getting those vibes. Wolfglen, I'm getting those vibes, but he can't say it. He can't bring himself to say it on camera. He can't bring himself to say it on camera.
straws. Oh, she's not clear on the policies. Bro, you're voting for Trump. Oh, not ready. Not ready. I don't want to vote for someone who's a backup. What are you talking about? No, the real answer was the first part there. He works in real estate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, my God.
That is why he is voting for Trump, which actually is a good indication that maybe Kamala Harris is going to be much, much better on housing than Donald Trump is when the real estate industry
just some of them cognizant.
doesn't like Kamala Harris. So they should maybe use that
Yeah.
a little more and just promote that, the fact that real estate doesn't like her. Because when you have, I'm not sure what he does in real estate. That's not clear, but
I can take a guess. I can take a guess. The moment this dude said real estate, yeah.
Kamala Harris has been very vocal about trying to cut down on corporate real estate owners. And if he works in that, well, he has a clear reason, a personal financial reason to want Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. Like this idea, she's not ready. Like what? That has to be one of the dumbest possible reasons to not support. I think there are legitimate criticisms you can make of Kamala Harris.
Yeah, 100%. But that wasn't it. I want to buy a house next year. Well, hopefully, it would be nice to have the 25,000 subsidy, depending if you are in that bracket of being a first-time homeowner or I don't remember what the stipulations was, but that would be nice. Being undecided in Canada actually means something with 9 reasonably recognized political parties. Yeah, I could see that. That's more explainable.
We did last night during that speech.
I understand that too.
Live here. The foreign policy section. My God. There was some insane stuff said during that. Oh, we're going to have the most lethal military. Like, are you okay? Really? Did you have to go there? Just some extreme shit that did not need to be said. But again, these attempts to try and appeal to, I guess, Republicans or conservative voters that think she's not strong enough. Anyways.
Which is pretty absurd because they're always going to think that way regardless. Like, that was completely unnecessary. This is my third house, but if we could get the rates down and prices down, that'd be tubular. Good luck. I'm crossing my fingers.
This is not a reason to not support her. Not being ready. What are you talking about? Yet a real estate mogul who puts his name on shit and hosted a Celebrity Apprentice. That's the guy who's ready after he showed you 4 years of disaster. That's the guy that's ready.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't about that. I think, I think the answers are. I think the real answers is that this dude's some kind of like higher up or high, or works in some kind of like connected industry with the real estate market, so much so that he actually is protecting his own interests and the fact that like he couldn't actually bear, he couldn't actually bring himself to say it on camera, but like the whole like not being ready kind of thing, it just makes me feel like he's only saying that, as Cognizant pointed out, because she's a woman.
Ridiculous. No, it's personal financial reasons. That is why. That's my opinion, but come on. Right. Anyways, let me know in the comments below what you thought of Kamala Harris's speech last night. And if there are any undecided voters in your life that maybe you've spoken to and they have come to a decision since that speech.
I'm actually curious. He wasn't being honest about his position from the get-go. Yeah, like you see, I think somebody else, like I think, this person also was picking up what this dude was throwing down. And I kind of agree. I kind of agree. Midas Touch cracked this case wide open. This guy has years of MAGA and social media posts. The guy was pro-Trump, pro-MAGA from the get-go. Gotcha. Hey, look, this person is claiming that that he wasn't undecided at all. So I don't know, like, who cast this dude, who asked him to come. But yeah, they kind of dropped the ball on this one. Yeah, here's another person making the same claim. Laura Jane Gracie Day in Gainesville, Florida, October 27. If she came out aggressively, she'd immediately be labeled as an angry black woman, and trust me, a black man knows that. Another person said the same thing. He's a diehard Trump supporter. Yeah. I think most of the comments we're picking up what this guy was throwing down. All right. Because we have to, folks. Okay, this was, man, they're not beating the weird label. They're not. This guy's never going to beat the weird label. Okay, it's just not happening, folks.
Do we have that JD Vance thing? The donut one? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, did you see this today, Sam, about JD Vance and the donut shop?
Oh, I did. In a comparison with Walls, it is unbelievable. It feels like this is like an experiment where JD Vance has like it's like Dogtooth, where the parents raise the kids, and don't allow them out into society.
Yes.
Give them different names for everything. It's like JD Vance has lived in that environment. And then they said, like, let's put him into a donut shop and see what happens.
Right. Yeah. It's also, a little bit like when aliens embody human skin, then they have to have human interactions. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
Let me say one other thing. That my understanding about Ozempic or Ozempic-like drugs is that it kills your enthusiasm for food, broadly speaking. And so, like, where you or I might walk into a donut shop and be overwhelmed, like, I mean, particularly me, if I have one bite of a donut, I will eat every donut in the store.
Right.
And the smell, it raises my blood pressure. He clearly is disgusted by every donut in that shop. Go.
And also having difficulty having a human interaction.
Yep.
I would get a couple dozen, sir.
The audio goes way.
I gotta watch that movie now. We can queue it up as part of the movie night stuff. Maybe we can throw that on the queue.
Up in just a sec.
I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. She
So awkward, man. So freaking awkward. Jesus.
She doesn't want to be on film, guys, so just cut her out of anything. Appreciate that, man.
Great job.
What?
Okay. Wait, go back. So, first of all, she doesn't want to be on camera, she says, with JD Vance here. And
I wouldn't want to be on camera with JD Vance either, okay? So I completely feel her. I completely understand.
then he tells her he's running for vice president of the United States, and just see how she reacts.
Nick, I
would get a couple dozen, sir.
A couple dozen? Okay. I'm sorry, man. Okay, yeah. She doesn't want to be on film, guys, so just cut her out of anything.
I love how they immediately explicitly not do that as we are watching a video.
Appreciate that, man.
What an asshole.
Okay.
Okay. We'll do 2 dozen?
Okay.
Yeah.
A hair.
Just a random assortment of stuff here. How long have you worked here?
I've been here since the beginning of July.
Okay.
For this year.
Okay, good. How about you, sir?
Same.
Almost 2 years.
Okay, good. How long?
Put on a mask, yep.
Everything.
All right, I just like that. Now look, I just.
Okay.
What answer did he contemplate they could give, which he would engage more with?
Right, exactly.
Like if they said I've been here. I'm like, I've been here for less than a month, right? I mean, or a month. Like it's July, she got hired, so
yeah,
she's just been here for like 3 or 4 or 5, maybe 5 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, whatever. She's a new employee, and he's like, okay. How long you been here? And he's like, he's been here for 2 years. And his response
Good
to him,
range there.
okay.
Okay.
Like, there's no, like, could one
Do
of
you
them
like
have
it
said,
here?
like,
What's your favorite flavor?
Like, I've been here for 35 years. I've been here for 35 years. And I know you look at me and I look like I'm not even 30, but I've actually been working here for 35 years. Okay. What did he expect they were going to say that he could have a human response to?
It sounds like he is checking their immigration status, right? that's probably what he's fantasizing about in the back of his head. Jesus. That is the correct emote there, Michael Hassler. That is the correct emote for this guy.
He couldn't even think of a question to ask. Like, how do you like working here? Right, exactly. Because he can't say, like, how do you like working here? Because they might go like,
I wish my benefits were better. Well, here's what we want to do for you, X, Y, Z. Oh, I wish my wages were a little bit higher. I mean, dang, I can't afford to live in a really nice apartment, or I have housing insecurity. Well, this is how I'm going to fix it. Okay, you know.
Good.
She didn't even want to be.
Yeah, like that's the problem, right? Because like if that was actually the conversation, well, if that was the actual conversation,
Be on camera with him. Did you catch that?
Republicans have nothing there. Republicans have nothing there.
She doesn't, and they film her anyway. But and then so when he says I'm running for vice president. Right, they didn't. Well, at least it's CNBC or C-SPAN. But he says I'm running for vice president, and she says okay. Like that's not the reaction you want when it's the potential vice president with you.
Doesn't care at all. She does not care at all.
Think about what just a normal human being, or even an abnormal human being who is aware of how normal human beings act.
Yes.
And he would have said like, hey, is it hard to work at a donut shop and not eat all the donuts? Like there's a lot of low hanging fruit here.
How long do you work here? I'm conducting a survey. He went to the, a lot of people know he went to Yale. More people should know that he went to the Elliot Rodgers School of Glad Handing.
Deep cut.
Wait, what? Is that really true?
He's a school shooter. No, I'm joking. Elliot Rodgers. All
right, let's keep going because it actually really starts really heating up.
Okay, good. How long is
Everything.
Just everything, yeah. I mean, a lot of glazed here, some sprinkle stuff, some of these cinnamon rolls, just whatever makes sense.
Yeah, if you don't.
Whatever makes sense.
Yeah.
Whatever a human would do.
About 4 years.
Oh man, that is just too perfect.
Oh my god, he did it again!
How long have you been here? Okay.
Oh no! Somebody, quick! Break him out of the loop. Okay. Oh my god. SB Harkin, welcome. Yep. Probably never goes for donuts himself. Exactly.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Deposit. Like, what is the possible answer he thinks he's going to get from the third person? Actually, I don't even work here. I'm here to assassinate you. Like, okay, now we've got a story. Like, or like, I'm actually robbing a bank. You mean we're stopping a robbery? Like, what is the answer that he thinks
is ready for follow-up?
It's just like, he can't even come up with another question other than how long have you worked here?
Well, he's genuinely incurious as long as you're fulfilling some sort of like capitalist cog in the
how long has your service been?
Yeah.
Senator Vance, this is a stick up.
But the best is like the idea, like his Ozempic prevents him from actually like having any interaction with the donuts. So he's just like,
he could have laid on the charm, said, "Oh, what's your favorite? I'll take a couple of those." Not capable of it. Yep. He is trying to insult them, make them feel bad about their job and lives. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. It's just like this dude's so freaking awkward. So freaking weird.
I can tell there are different varieties here. Whatever makes sense for human people who eat donuts.
Yeah, my dad he got kicked out of a bar once when he was a teenager. Because one of his friends who they were in blew their cover when the bartender came over and said, "Hey, what kind of beer would you like?" And the person said, "I'd like a normal beer, please."
Oh, made it quite clear.
It's kind of like, yeah, just whatever donut a normal human would have.
Yeah. I would like a glass of alcohol.
Yeah, real like sneaking into an R-rated movie energy from JD Vance, being like, "I'm supposed to be in this theater."
I do this all the time.
All right, let's keep going.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of glazed here, some sprinkle stuff, some of these cinnamon rolls, just whatever makes sense.
Say what you see, JD.
Look at the camera. It's The Office.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes! Yes! Oh, this is indistinguishable. Ask who makes the donuts and about what time did they get there. Oh man, Invader of the Body Snatchers energy. Yeah.
About 4 years. About 4 years? Okay.
Okay.
A little
over 6 months.
Okay, good.
4 times?
We're having fun.
Oh,
Harvey.
shoot.
Yeah, it's,
Man, they didn't break him out of the loop.
Conversation's flowing.
When we selected this place, I didn't know if it had been here for 20 years or 4 years or, you never know. Sometimes you drop in.
This whole story.
Wow.
years. I don't talk about
Pause it for a
years.
second. Pause it. Well, when we selected the place, I didn't know if it had been here for 4 years or 20 years. Now I got my answer.
I love to talk about spans of time.
Yes. His first four attempts at asking about spaces of time fell flat, so he went to another one in terms of the,
Okay,
the
not
shop
about the
location.
people. I'm talking about the duration of the people. How long has this building been here? I want to know now.
What about this counter? Was this counter here from the beginning? Or?
What about your across the street that Jiffy Lube? How long has that been there?
Years? Okay. How long have you been here?
A little over 6 months.
Okay, good.
Good.
Yeah, it's when we selected this place, I didn't know if it had been here for 20 years or 4 years or
Selected it.
Sometimes you drop in.
It's a cool story. The owner of this place, basically him and his uncle owned his grandfather's schools, which was founded in Douglas.
Oh, okay.
And his uncle
Right. She didn't want to be on camera, so.
So finally, someone stepped in and gave him some interesting content. There used to be an interesting case for the owner.
How to show you've never purchased a donut in your life. True. I feel like he was just overly confident in his chit-chat abilities, and he has zero. Yep. Time to make the donuts.
Here's your story about the ownership. He's like, well, how long were they here?
That person just couldn't deal with the awkwardness of the conversation anymore. She's like, I'll just throw this loser a frickin'
I'll
bone.
give him the spiel.
Yeah.
Are they still dead? Is that?
Oh,
they're still
Sam,
dead?
you'll like this. The Chicks, formerly the Dixie Chicks, cancel culture's victims are on right now.
All right.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Bill Rutten?
Well, I just thought you might enjoy the,
No, that was
the Bush.
Emhoff.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I know. That was a. Hey, Grandpa, you're.
No.
They just sang the anthem.
I like. Oh, okay. Well, I like them for.
They should do the one about
grief they
killing
took
the
for that.
ex-boyfriend.
Oh yeah.
Is George
That's
Bush going to
Carrie
come
Under-
out now?
What?
Bye, Trump.
Oh wait, maybe that's
Is
not.
that them? I don't know.
No, that's about keying his car.
Oh, is it? I thought they
Yeah.
killed him.
Nah, we're talking about different things. I think.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show.
Whew. Man, that was rough. Jesus Christ. Let me take a moment, folks. If they were going for no charisma, then jackpot. True. Maybe he was going for Boston Dynamic dog votes. Oh, man. All right, folks, we got a few headlines to go through. Because the climate crisis has not gone away, folks, heat-related deaths accelerated in the last 7 years, Journal of American Medical Association study finds. Americans are more at risk for the deadly effects of heat than ever before, a new study found. Researchers from the Journal of the American Medical Association say there were 21,518 deaths from 1999 to 2023, where heat was either the underlying cause or the contributing cause of death, a possible underestimation, they say. And total heat-related deaths have increased 117% since 1999. The authors of the study, which was released on Monday, used data from the Centers of the CDC and CDC to calculate mortality rates. While the numbers of heat-related deaths fluctuate year to year, there was a sharp uptick in the last 7 years. According to the data, heat-related deaths increased by 16.8% per year from 2016 to 2023, and researchers expect that number to continue climbing. As temperatures continue to rise because of climate change, the recent increased trend is likely to continue. Dr. Jeffrey Howard, co-author of the study and associate professor, University of Texas at San Antonio, said a mix of factors contributing the upward trend after 2016. It's likely that continued increase in average temperatures, the number of hot days, and frequency and intensity of heat waves could be playing a role. He said there's also social and behavioral component as well, including difference in access to air conditioning, outdoor work, and the number of unhoused individuals and things like that. The fridge died while trying to remove the heat from inside itself, another casualty. Yikes. Last year not only was the hottest year on record, but also the most deadly, with a total of 2,325 people dying from heat, the study found. Around 120,000 people were admitted to the ER for heat-related illness from January to December of 23, according to CDC data. Over 90% of those visits occurred during the peak summer months of May to September. Data from the study indicates that heat-related deaths were... I had nothing to do with it. But seriously, that's sad. Yeah, I agree. We're the highest in Arizona, California, Nevada, and Texas. This is not terribly surprising because we know these are some of the hottest regions in the country, but it does reinforce that the risk varies regionally, said Howard. Rising temperatures due to climate change have led to record-breaking heat across the country in recent years. After recording the warmest July on record in 175 years, the national NOAA said on a call this month that there's a 77% chance that 2024 will be the hottest year yet. Cool. Nice. The international community is also grappling with the deadly effects of the heat. A recent study published in Nature Medicine estimated that 47,000 people died last year in Europe due to heat. And how many were homeless? Man, I would imagine disproportionately that would be... disproportionately, I imagine, they would be the most affected. People may present to the emergency department or the hospital with a heart attack, stroke, asthma attack, kidney failure, and heat is often not recorded in medical records as the underlying cause, said Dr. Celine Gounder, CBS Medical News contributor, told CBS News earlier this month. Howard said local and state officials, clinicians, and researchers should take heed of sharp increases in heat-related deaths in the last 7 years and make adjustments to ensure that the deaths are counted properly. Quote, there's still a variability in the procedures for completing death certificates across the country, counties in U.S., which could be enhanced with additional standardization. As the temperatures climb each year, states are scrambling to put life-saving measures into place. The Journal of American Medical Association authors recommend local governments investing in cooling centers, air conditioning, and hydration centers to help people beat the heat. Other ways to protect against extreme heat, Dr. Gounder said, include taking advantage of state and federal tax credits for residential renewable energy installation projects and making sure that your home is properly insulated. On an individual basis, Dr. Gounder said she recommends cold showers and taking breaks in the shade if you're outdoors. Judge rules Breonna Taylor's boyfriend caused her death, throwing out major charges against ex-Louisville officers. This is patently one of the most absurd stories that I've seen, or rather absurd update on a story that I've ever seen. A federal judge has thrown out major felony charges against the two former Louisville officers accused of falsifying a warrant that led police to Breonna Taylor's door before they fatally shot her. Like, I'm completely like flabbergasted at this statement. How falsifying information to obtain falsifying a warrant that ultimately ended up in somebody's death gets your felony charges thrown out, and then blame that. Okay, like this is just like a step forward, to blame that on her significant other, who was just doing honestly the right thing, right? Like protecting his home from armed invaders. That's what he thought he was doing because that's what was happening. U.S. District Judge Charles Simpson's ruling declared that the actions of Taylor's boyfriend, who fired a shot at the police at the night of the raid, were the legal cause of her death, not a bad warrant. This is so freaking horrible. This is disgusting. The fact that like somebody could come to this conclusion. That's disgusting. There's no justice for victims. Yep, police are thugs. They protect their own like a gang. Exactly. Yep, no doubt. No-knock warrants are fast. No doubt. I completely agree. I think that they should be completely outlawed and banned. Federal charges against former Louisville police detective Joshua Janes and former Sergeant Kyle Meany were announced by U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland in 2022 during a high-profile visit to Louisville. Garland accused Janes and Meany, who were not present at the raid, of knowing that they had falsified part of the warrant and put Taylor in a dangerous situation by sending armed officers to her apartment. Right. Like, hey, here's a question. So if somebody swats somebody, like I genuinely, like, this is so freaking absurd. If somebody swats somebody, who gets the blame? Because the whole point of swatting is to provide false information, right? To provide false information, so that a armed police response would be elicited, right? So who gets the blame for that, right? The person who made the falsifying information to get the cops there, and if something happens, who gets the blame for that? So why is this any different? Why is the people who falsified part of the information that led to this not liable here, or not criminally culpable here? Cops lied that they identified themselves. Yeah, cops lied at every stretch of this, right? Cops lied to get the warrant, and cops lied during what happened at the situation, what happened in the situation. Sounds like they put her into harm's way to me. Exactly, because they're the ones that falsified this information. How can you have no knock warrants and have the right to defend your home? Correct. That's a very good point. Exactly. But Simpson wrote in Tuesday's ruling that there's no direct link between the warrantless entry and Taylor's death. What do you mean, bro? If you suddenly, in the middle of in the freaking night, or whenever it happened, she was still in bed, so I don't know if it was morning. Well, it doesn't matter. If you at any point in time are in your home hanging out, and you hear an entire commotion and somebody trying to bust in, your immediate reaction should be, or your right should be, to be able to defend yourself, okay? Because if somebody's about to kick down your door and you don't know who that person is, They have failed to identify themselves properly, anyways. You have to assume that you're going to have to protect yourself. And that's so absurd that there's no direct link between warrantless entry and Taylor's death. Of course there is. This only happened because of the warrantless entry. If they actually had to announce themselves and had an actual warrant where they had to wait until somebody confirmed that this was a valid warrant, preferably your legal counsel would be there and confirm that this is a warrant and allow the officers in at that point. This would have never happened. This would have never happened. Were they even dressed as cops, and do you have to answer the door if someone says it's the police? No, you don't. You absolutely don't. Do never, ever, ever, ever answer the door at all. If somebody claims that that they're the police, regardless of whether or not they're actually police, it doesn't matter. Never, never, never answer the door. Call the police and make sure that they are actually police. And if they do have an actual warrant, call a lawyer. Because no, do not answer the door. Do not open the door. Do not even peek through the door. Nothing, nada. Don't stay away from the door. That is the best thing that you can do. Right next to calling your lawyer, or calling a lawyer. Or calling the police to make sure that those people are actually police. State-sanctioned death squads. No. The judge declined to dismiss a conspiracy charge against Janes and another charge against Meany, who is accused of making false statements to the investigators. When police carrying a drug warrant broke down Taylor's door in March of 2020, her boyfriend Kenneth Walker fired a shot that struck an officer in the leg. Walker said he believed an intruder was busting in. Officers returned fire, striking and killing Taylor, a 26-year-old black woman, in her hallway. Simpson concluded that Walker's conduct became the proximate or legal cause of Taylor's death. While the indictment alleges that Janes and Meany set off a series of events that ended in Taylor's death, it also alleges that Walker disrupted those events when he decided to open fire on those police. Because he thought somebody was breaking in, dude. Like, this is so patently absurd. Walker was initially arrested and charged with the attempted murder of a police officer, but that charge was later dropped after his attorney argued Walker didn't know he was firing at police. A U.S. justice, they even dropped the charges. So, that begs the question, obviously they didn't identify themselves properly enough. Okay? Because, if they would have been able to nail him on attempted murder of a police officer, the whole point would have been the whole prosecution would have been hinged on proving the fact that he knew that they were police and still fired at them anyways. But they dropped those charges. I thought that was the entire idea of Americans having guns, to protect their homes. Right, but apparently not against state-sanctioned death squads, as Cognizant pointed out. A U.S. Justice Department spokesperson confirmed to CBS that the department is reviewing the judge's decision and assessing the next steps. A third officer charged in a federal warrant case, Kelly Goodlett, pleaded guilty in 2022 to a conspiracy charge and is expected to testify against Janes and Meany at their trials. Federal prosecutors alleged Janes, who drew up the Taylor warrant, had claimed to Goodlett days before the warrant that was served that he had verified from a postal inspector that a suspected drug dealer was receiving packages at Taylor's apartment. But Goodlet knew that that was false and told Janes that the warrant did not have yet enough information connecting Taylor to criminal activity. A prosecutor said. She added a paragraph saying the suspected drug dealer was using Taylor's apartment as his current address, according to court records. 2 months later, when the Taylor shooting was attracting national headlines, Janes and Goodlet met in Jane's garage to get on the same page before Janes talked to investigators about the warrant. A fourth former officer, Brett Hankinson, also charged by federal prosecutors in 2022 with endangering the lives of Taylor and Walker with some of the neighbors and some of her neighbors when he fired into Taylor's window. A trial last year ended with a hung jury, but Hankinson is scheduled to be retried on this charges in October. Good. In 2022, the city of Louisville agreed to pay $2 million to settle lawsuits filed by Kenneth Walker in federal and state court. In 2020, CBS Morning co-host Gayle King asked Walker, "What does justice look like for you and for Breonna Taylor?" "Breonna Taylor's sitting right next to me," Walker said. "That's the only justice for me." That's so freaking sad, man. That's so freaking sad. Yeah, literally just shooting into a window. No idea where those bullets could have gone. That's why he was charged with putting everyone in the vicinity in danger, not just him and her, but the neighbors as well. She deserved better. Crooked country. Yep. Yep. Cowards. There's a lot of them. And if there was any semblance of justice, all of them would be done. All of them. And now it looks like we're going to have top cop Kamala. Well, the only thing that she could, the only thing that like she could do is maintain the, is to maintain the Justice Department that is prosecuting these people, that is actually bringing cases against these cops. Well, on this, yeah, definitely better than the alternative on this, on this subject. Yes. Well, she seems authoritarian. I guess we'll see. Well, if you know, if Trump gets an executive sanction, total immunity to all law enforcement, something to look forward to. Yeah, like, yeah, we're talking about a whole different ball game. In my opinion, Trump threatens to pull out of the Harris debate. Hot mic's an issue. Oh no, Donnie. The campaigns of Donald Trump and Kamala Harris clashed on Monday over the next month's presidential debate, with the vice president's team seeking a return to open microphones while her Republican rival threatened to pull out entirely, suggesting the previously agreed upon ABC network was biased. Cold feet, Donnie. She is a DNC-approved lib, so we shall see. Indeed. Why would I do the debate against Kamala Harris on that network? Trump said was making his third bid for the White House, wrote in a social media post late Sunday. I also accused the network of bias. Stay tuned. Harris spokesperson Brian Fallon said on Monday the vice president's campaign wanted the broadcaster to keep the candidates' microphones on throughout the event, not muted when their opponent was speaking, as in the last presidential debate. The so-called hot mics can help or hurt political candidates, catching offhand comments that sometimes are not meant for the public. The vice president is ready to deal with Trump's constant lies and interruptions in real time. Trump should stop hiding behind the mute button. Trump campaign senior advisor Jason Miller said in a statement they had already agreed to the same terms as CNN's June debate, which had muted microphones, adding, "We have no changes to the agreed upon rules." But Trump later told reporters that he preferred to have his microphone kept on, adding that he did not like it muted last time and that he was not preparing much for a face-off against his new rival. Yeah, so, I mean, come on, man. Come on. So first you're complaining that they were going to mute the microphones while the other person was speaking. Now you're saying that that's a problem and you want to go back to the old rules? Oh, come on, Donnie. Don Old. Quote, "It doesn't matter to me. I'd rather have it probably on, but the agreement was that it would be the same as it was last time. I'm not spending a lot of time on it. I think my whole life I've been preparing for a debate." Trump added, "You can't cram knowledge into your head, for 30 years of knowledge in 1 week. So, there's a little debate prep, but I've always done it more or less the same way." Yeah. So, how much you want to bet he's going to get some sort of illness right before the debate? Bone Spurs number 2. Yeah. "I'm sorry. I feel a little bit under the weather, so we're going to have to close the debate. Sorry." Hey, representatives for ABC did not immediately respond for comment. Harris secured the Democratic nomination after President Biden stepped aside last month, and they said they would do a September debate hosted by ABC and previously agreed to by Biden and Trump. Biden had pushed for earlier debates, hoping to boost his campaign and cast a brighter light on Trump, and halting his performance at the June 27th face-off triggered alarm within his party, with him ending his re-election bid. Trump has floated another debate hosted by Fox News on September 4th, which he later would say would be televised, a town hall with just himself and John Hannity. The Harris campaign said no. Conservatives just talk over people. It's a problem. Trump, but I just want to look strong with my pouty face and be able to talk over everyone because people only want to listen to me, your favorite president. Trump said a little while back that he might use his defamation suit against George Stephanopoulos to back out of this debate. Amazing. Oh, man. Amazing. The vice presidential candidates, Republican Senator J.D. Vance, the weird one, and Democratic Minnesota Governor Tim Walz are scheduled to debate on October 1st. So like a month and something. This is the last week of August and of summer break for me. Yeah, but it's pretty much done. It's pretty much done. It's like a month. In a month and a week, basically, we're going to be in October. Man. Another way of putting it is basically we're down to next week. Next week is basically 2 months out to the election. Did I scare you? Boo! Oh man! And then a couple weeks after that is after October 1st is spooky time for Halloween. When is Halloween actually? Going back. Oh, Halloween is actually on a Thursday. Look at that. Halloween is actually on a Thursday. October 31st this year. Yes, and every year. I was just sorry, I didn't clarify. I was asking what date it would fall on. Thursday, look at that. So I'll be wearing something spooky, maybe. A spooky. I was just being silly. All right, folks, we got one. This is actually pretty important to pay attention to what's happening in Texas. Texas removes over 1 million voters from rolls since passage of anti-voting law. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has announced Monday that the state has removed over 1 million people from its voter rolls since Republican legislators passed a sweeping voter suppression law 3 years ago. In a news release, the Republican governor said the people who have been removed include voters who moved out of Texas, are deceased, or non-citizens. That removal process has been and continue to be ongoing. The Secretary of State and county voter registrars have been an ongoing legal requirement to review the voter rolls, remove ineligible voters, and refer any potential illegal voting to the Attorney General's office and local authorities for investigation and prosecution. According to the release, the highest portion of voters removed from the rolls, over 463,000, were on the suspense list, which essentially means the county is unaware of the current voter's address. Which, that doesn't mean they're ineligible to vote. So that's just under half of that. That's pretty freaking disturbing. Like, at this point, since there's still time left, I would definitely recommend to keep track of what your voter registration looks like right now, because of laws like this. Marito, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Texas is half indeed. You just wear a replica Tim Pool beanie. It scared the heck out of me. Oh man, I probably have like a beanie like that, just like a regular regular plain black beanie. Yeah, register for Democrat, banned. More like register for Dems, lost it. Right to jail. Additionally, Abbott's office said of the over 6,500 non-citizens removed from the voter rolls, about 1,930 have a voter history, and their records will be sent to the Attorney General's office to investigate and potentially take legal action. Yeah, how much you want to bet that out of 1,930, how much of those will actually be actionable? Sure, dude. The release notes that last year, Abbott signed House Bill 1243 into law, which raised the penalty for illegal voting to a felony. Over 6,000 of voters removed from the rolls have a felony conviction. In 2021, Abbott signed the Senate Bill 1, a package of anti-voting measures, including one that criminalizes ballot harvesting, another that requires the Secretary of State to conduct audits of elections every 2 years. The laws passed in the wake of the 2020 election were met with fierce opposition from both pro-voting groups and the Democratic Texas legislators. The lawsuit filed against Abbott over the legislation in September of 2021 is still ongoing. Pull a reverse Uno and sue them for taking you off the voter roll. Yes. How many will be Republican registries? A lot less, I imagine. So continuing on this here, Texas AG raids home of Latino civil rights group members setting up a voter rights showdown. I wouldn't doubt that, Heat. I wouldn't put it past them. Raids on several homes of Democrats in South Texas and what the state attorney general said is an ongoing election integrity investigation has set off a showdown with the nation's oldest Latino civil rights group. The August 20th raids targeted Manuel Medina, chair of the Tejano Democrats, several members of the League of United Latin American Citizens, a state house candidate, and a local mayor. The raids have triggered outrage and accusations of voter suppression in a state with a long history of discrimination against its citizens of Mexican descent, which gave rise to LULAC in 1929. On Monday, LULAC leaders, state legislators, activists of other Latino groups, and supporters, and some other people whose homes were raided, protested outside of San Antonio office of Attorney General Ken Paxton, a Republican. It's my guess they forge a bunch of invalid registries just so they can purge valid ones. Yep. Just some valid registries just get slipped in there, and they can say that they did all this work when in reality it's just nothing. Quote, "This is point-blank voter intimidation, and LULAC will fight for the right of every Latino to exercise the right to vote," said Roman Palomares, LULAC's national president. A copy of a wide-ranging search warrant left with one of the people targeted, LULAC volunteer Lydia Martinez, 87 of San Antonio, offered a window into the investigation's interest. The warrant ordered the seizures of all electronic devices at her home, allowed for the opening of documents that were business, organization, or election-related, and authorized swabbing for DNA. According to the warrant, the purpose of the search was to look for evidence of violations of the Texas election law regarding vote harvesting and identity fraud. Yeah, sure, dude, whatever. Medina's home was also forcibly entered in the early morning of August 20th, according to a filing from his attorney. Officers woke up Medina, his wife, and two young daughters and rummaged through the residence for 7 hours, the attorney said, searching through living spaces, closets, kitchens, bathrooms, and garage and family bedrooms. The officers seized 65 cell phones, 41 computers, and storage devices. Two Democrat consultants who weren't knowledgeable about Medina's business during the investigation said someone running an election phone banking or canvassing operation can have multiple phones and computers for volunteering and staff. Medina's attorney was granted his request for an injunction to block the attorney general or any other state officials from reviewing the documents or disseminating them. A hearing on the search and seizure was set for September 12th. In his filing, request for the injunction, Medina's attorney said authorities seized almost 65 cell phones, 41 computers, digital and other storage devices, papers and documents, and family and other photographs. The attorney and Medina declined for comment when reached Friday by NBC News. "There is no poll tax, there is no white-only primary, there's no going back. We will not go back," said Domingo Garcia, LULAC's former president, said Monday during Monday's protest. Garcia now heads a recently formed LULAC Political Action Committee that endorsed Kamala Harris. GOP firebrand, "Look at all these dead people on the voter rolls," Dem rebuttal, "because all those people died this year." Exactly. Paxton, who announced the raids on Thursday in a news release, has been outspoken in advancing baseless claim about voter fraud, particularly about non-citizens voting in the upcoming election. "There's a reason Joe Biden brought all these people here illegally," Paxton said on radio show earlier this month. "I'm convinced that's how they're going to do it with this time. They're going to use the illegal vote. Why were they brought in? Why did he bring in 14 million people? He brought them here to vote." Just one problem here. If that's true, okay, which is an absurd conspiracy theory, because obviously people who are not citizens can't vote. Like, it's just not a thing that happens. I'm sorry, it's not a thing. It's not a thing, and to the extent that I mean, has there even been a case? Has there even been like a serious case where people who are non-citizens were voting? Like, I mean, I'm sure you could find like one or two out there, but like seriously, like, has there really been such a significant problem that like this needs to be addressed? Like, no, the answer to that is no. This is a complete fabrication. The reason why they're fabricating this narrative is because they want to use that as a vehicle to suppress the vote. That's it. It's plain and simple. They don't want people to vote. They want people to be scared. They want people to feel like if they move the wrong way or perhaps engage in their civic right to vote and engaging in the electoral process, that they will be investigated, and armed agents of the state will show up and investigate them. A lot of them turned out to be wrong too. A living person with the same name, a widow registered as Mrs. Husband's name, which used to be common. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't doubt it. It's a simulacra. It is pretty despicable. And also, just like throwing that absurd theory aside for 1 second, why would the governor then bus a lot, these undocumented folks throughout the country, right? Like, why would they, if that's true that this was the plan all along, right? The scheming Dems are going to use the undocumented folks to vote. Why would you bus them to different cities inside the country? Like, you bus them to Democratic strongholds, essentially. And it just doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? Yeah, the scheming Dems, right? You can't even register to vote if you're not a citizen. Correct. Correct. Paxton falsely has claimed that immigrants were given social security numbers at the border as part of the scheme too. There's no evidence of that or non-citizens casting ballots in any significant numbers. Right. That's like not a thing. That's not a thing. In the release announcing the raids, Paxton said his office would have no further comment. This is an intimidation tactic. Plain and simple. Plain and simple, this is an intimidation tactic. In the release announcing the raids, Paxton said his office would have no further comment on the investigation. NBC News reached out for Friday and has not received a response. But the release did state that the raids were a result of a 2-year investigation based on allegations of voting and election violations from Audrey Gossett Lewis, a district attorney for 5 area counties. Paxton's a maniac. I thought he was in jail. No. If you show up to the polls and things aren't in order, you can in many places anyway fill out a provisional ballot, but that won't get counted if you're not registered. Correct. Latino leaders have called on the Department of Justice to investigate and are alleging the raids are a political move to suppress Latino votes. A Justice Department spokesperson said they are aware of the matter but declined to comment. Quote, "It is a disgrace and outrageous that the state of Texas and its highest-ranking law enforcement officers once again using the power of his office to instill fear in the hearts of the community members who volunteer their time to promote a civic engagement." Exactly! That's what it is. That's what it is. Who should I vote for? Not Trump. That's my answer. You should always vote against the fascist. Said Gabriel Rosales, the Texas State Director of LULAC, which focuses on Latino economic, political, and civil rights. I've been contacted by elderly residents who are confused and frightened, wondering why they have been singled out. Attorney General Paxton's actions clearly aim to suppress the Latino vote through intimidation and any means necessary to tilt the electoral process in favor of his political allies. 100%. Cecilia Castellano, a candidate for the House District 80, said she was served a search warrant for her phone just after 6 a.m. on the same day as the others. Medina is working on Castellano's campaign. Quote, "I was still asleep and I was woken up by my doorbell and a hard knock," she said. She told NBC News, "I went to the front door and I have these flashlights and flashing into my home. The officer shared a copy of the search warrant with Castellano and left her with the work phone. Castellano said she felt the search was a political intimidation, adding that she had been told 2 other people who had been volunteering for her campaign were served with warrants. She's never helped people to register for vote or vote by mail, and wasn't sure what she was being investigated for. The rest of your votes on the ballots are likely more important than the presidency. Right. As usual, early to water her plants, Martinez answered a knock at a door at 6 a.m. and in walked a group of armed men and women with police badges and riot shields and the search warrant. Still in her nightgown, Martinez was asked to change clothes when instead she said she was forced to sit in her dining room answering questions while the agents rummaged for her 4 hours through just about everything in her 2-bedroom home. They searched everything, my underwear, brassieres, nightgowns, everything. They went into my garage, they opened my car, they went through my whole car, my whole garage, my refrigerator, cabinets, kitchen cabinets, everything. At the news conference, Martinez said that for about half an hour she was made to stand outside her home, still in her nightgown, while neighbors could see while the officers searched the dining area. Said she would not tell her what they were looking for and questioned her for 4 hours, asking about Manuel Medina and when she joined LULAC. They left with her appointment book, cell phone, laptop, blank voter registration cards, and certification for completing a voter registration course. At the news conference, Martinez said 9 people had shown up at her door to execute the search warrant, that her family had asked her to stop her volunteer work with LULAC as well as any voter registration efforts because they'd be afraid she'd go to jail. Right, like this is absurd. This is not acceptable. To be afraid of going to jail for just being engaged in the electoral process. Like, that is absurd. I grew up at the west side of San Antonio. My dad had 2 grocery stores and he taught us the right to vote, said Martinez, a San Antonio native. She added that he had 5 brothers who served in the armed forces, including one who was killed in Vietnam and earned the Silver Star. Martinez is a commander with the American Legion. They're trying to stop us from registering voters and helping especially seniors. If I don't go out there and their voter registration is expired, some of them are in wheelchairs. If they don't have a way of going to the election office to get registration, they don't have a way to be going to the election office to get registration forms. Marianne Obregon, mayor of Dilley, about 71 miles of San Antonio, said her dog's barking alerted her to 2 officers who showed up at her home and demanded her phone when she went outside. Said on Monday she wasn't shown a search warrant until after they followed her in while she retrieved her phone. After they left, I got very emotional and I was crying. This is absurd. This should not be a thing at all. This should not be a thing at all. What would you what would these people think, or what would these people say if in democratic states, Democratic attorney generals were executing search warrants for like MAGA people engaging in politics, essentially. That is effectively what this is happening. What's happening here? What would those people say then? If attorney generals in blue states, Democratic attorney generals started like executing search warrants for MAGA political groups. These people would be decrying civil war. It is crazy and illegal. Do you think that all Republicans have fascist views? Yes. Yeah, the Republican Party is a fascist party. Period. Full stop. Yeah, that's what they already think. But it's actually what they're doing, which is wild. Which is wild. Yes, the Republican Party is a fascist party, period. No doubt in my mind about that. They lost their minds when the IRS investigated nonprofits, and it turned out they investigated more left-leaning than more right-leaning. 87 or 86,000 armed agents. But I guess when they do it to their perceived political opponents, I suppose that's A-okay, and crickets. Look at the Dems taking away your rights, just like we're doing over here. They still claim Obama's IRS targeted them despite all the contrary evidence. Yeah, well, evidence is not a. It's not evidence is evidence is not a thing they do. So, you know. But they're Dems, so it's okay if we do it. Right, exactly. That's exactly what it is. I see what you did there, SV Harkin. Evidence is not understood by my Fifi-addled brain. Exactly. What did Biden change in the police force after the BLM case? He did not much about anything, and in fact, he did the opposite. I think we went over his statement where he wanted to provide funding for like 100,000 more officers or something like that. Yeah, so not great on that one. Not great on that case. Not great. Not great on that one. Personally, I'm thankful that he's not running anymore. Alright, folks, it is time for me to go get some food and an ice cream sandwich, okay? I can blame chat for this one, because I'm definitely in the mood for an ice cream sandwich now. I'm gonna go get some dinner. Thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Sorry that this week's stream schedule is gonna be a little wonky. Pasta. That's actually exactly what I'm gonna go have right now. That's exactly what I'm actually gonna have. Precisely that. Pasta. And then for dessert, I will have my ice cream sandwich. But yeah, so this week's stream schedule is yeah, I didn't know you were coming over. Yeah, just you can start pouring the bowl right now, okay? Bowl and bowl, spoon, fork, that's all I need. But yeah, I apologize. This week's gonna be a little wonky. Wednesday's stream is tentative. Wednesday's stream is tentative. I'll know more tomorrow. You know me and Bulls. Ha! Wednesday's stream is tentative. I will figure it out tomorrow. I'll figure it out. If I can, it will happen. If not, I'll know by tomorrow. Tomorrow's stream should be normal. And Thursday's stream should be. It might be short. Thursday's stream might be short. We can make up Wednesday on Saturday. Please come to movie night all. Yes, that's right. So on that note, I got to get going, folks. Thank you all for stopping by. Thank you, Michael Hessler. Thank you, Heat, for modding the chat. Thank you to the new follows. I appreciate it. Thank you to the subs. Thank you, Heat, for the support. I appreciate it. Thank you all. There are many ways of supporting the channel, and I appreciate all of you guys. You guys are what makes this channel grow. Consider checking out the merch stream. Consider checking out the exclamation mark tip if you want to tip your streamer directly. Join the Discord, folks. This week coming up is movie night, 6 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to do Dune number 2. Movie night is always 6 p.m. Eastern time, last Saturday of the month, which is upcoming. Also, if you join the Discord, it's easier to get any updates on the channel as well, because usually that's the easiest way. That's usually like where I post stuff to get everybody's attention, because that may not always be the case if I tweet about it or something like that. It's just better if I just do it in one place. So any updates on the channel are on the Discord if you want to join. Thank you all for stopping by. We'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern time. I appreciate it. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Thank y'all. See ya. Thank you for stopping by, Kamikaze, and I appreciate it. All right, folks, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.